Sorry if I'm a bit late on this. Things just happened, a lot of stuff that kind of going with, but honestly, why not finish up some actual loose ends and a bit of why this video was a bit late to make. I was busy with other things in life and I just got so distracted that day that I was, for the most part, inflicted, so like what do you put paralyzed. And I was focusing on other stuff at the time, and I wasn't really feeling like I wanted to get some reviews done. And I was feeling less of the me guy sometimes. So anyways, let's get on what I want to review today. Okay. And, this will finish out Yu-Gi-Oh! Month, and honestly, I just, maybe to make up for it, I will review a season that mostly was the first anime, although despite the fact that Duel Monsters will become more popular and the franchise will become more of a card game franchise after like the first few chapters, but yeah, there's a lot of things to say, but honestly, I just want to focus a bit more on some things first. So yeah. So, so, yeah, we're doing today is Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, if you remember the title. And yes, we're doing it this week's review, and yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
Sorry. So, yeah. So yeah, let's review the Go Rush. Not much development we have known so far, other than again, someone wants to do another Yu-Gi-Oh! Use of the Rush dueling, but not want to be a rehash issue 7s, and decided to want to focus on someone who haven't heard about Rush duels or just Yu-Gi-Oh! Just the guy in the fish out of water story. Yeah, kind of similar idea we sort of had originally for Yusuke, before checking it, before changing to be experienced duelist. More of a fish out of water story, so mostly done. And by the time, and mostly every single crew, mostly the same crew, and yes, even the series composer has been here since the Duel Monster days, so I don't think I really need to say that. I'm surprised they stayed this long, to be honest. But I hear so far the composer for Go Rush. He's enjoying composing for Go Rush so far, so I'm not gonna complain, to be honest. Also, Rich is still working on the animation though, so yeah. Currently at the time of recording is still doing some financial recovering with a certain franchise. That so far I've enjoyed, to be honest, and yeah, I didn't do much of a proper review for, but I will do a proper review for it at some point, but not now. So, yeah. Uh, 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 uh. Yeah, I'm doing this a little early than usual because, hey, I just really want to get with the stuff done. Anyways, today we're going to review Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways, let's just get on with the review of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. So, the first episode, we are the Terrestrial Trouble, the solution of constant. Yeah, the series begins with narration on life outside the planet, but the such are obvious. Yeah, I know this is not going to be important until later, but we get to our two sort of main characters, Yuma and Yoshi Goha. I like to assume for now, that they are basically the grandchildren of our obvious main protagonists. I'm not going to mention our voice actors, since so far they are pretty much new to the industry, and secondly, they don't have much voice acting career. This is mostly their star, to be honest. Although one of them had did one other role, but other than that, these two are quite new, to be honest. The next morning, they decided to wake up and look for a cat. Yeah, this cat will be important for later. And also having a bigger voice actress than the others, and recently also getting some role for anime that I think that had for a certain over-the-top gore anime that I will mention. Yeah, you know what? I better mention. Yeah, I will talk about the casting for Chainsaw Man later, but for now, I do want to talk about other things real quick. Alright, so just in case for later. And while we're wishing for looking for an alien that kidnaps cats, they found a crowd circle was there and found an alien a real alien spaceship, and decided to take off, and immediately we are into the Mediaverse. Anyways, we begin the being of light, Velgear from the Milky Way, and his name is, I will say this will be very important for later, Udius Velgear, voiced by Arthur Labari, who I think only I can find so far may be familiar with as well as Royal Baron from Izuma Love and Go Galaxy. You know, quite surprising considering both of them are aliens who descended with the Earth to play whatever human games they have. Yeah, they just go with that. Anyways, he explains that his plan is to basically stumble along more by rush duels. But only rush duels, and that's it. Yuma and Yusha found the real alien, and Yushi says that this was 8 million in years in the making. Like Sevens, we have an arc number based on the current series. Even though this is the last season had 2 arc numbers, 6 for Goha and 7 for the show, this show is 8. Correct? Challenging him into a rush duel. And yeah, this is basically the challenging Astro from Zexal, and basically Sesokaiwa's plan to basically teach aliens how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Yep, that's something. And that's if he wanted to get the Earth German back. Yeah, by the way, I remember not really paying attention to this the first time they were talking about it. I was kinda just thought this was until like the third rewatching of this episode, and then the 5th episode. And when we were talking about it in the 5th episode, yeah, I always feel like this was kind of a, I'll explain it later. It explains that rush duels is a more popular thing in elementary school students after the freedom reactivated gravitational, and we see Udius, at least in the physical form, accepting the challenge. Yoshi urges Udius to show the real rush duel and adjust your booster packs. Yoshi gets the superior Caesar Caesars open the packs, seal packs, and Udius thought he just broke it, and basically almost attempted to electrocute him. Red also revealing the 8.88 million countrymen. Yeah, like I said before, 8 is going to be the obvious arc number. Feeding Yusha tells Udius is to look inside the pack and saw and supports showing the cards and told them if they value of the electrocution and everything. That's me. UDS explains the galaxy will need to know about the rush duels. Basically, the galaxy will. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just gonna assume. I know this is a little spoilers for those who haven't seen Yu-Gi-Oh! 7, and I assume Yuga have just told him about rush duels, and I assume he was looking for this arc and whatnot. Anyways, basically he wins and gets to work at their company, which takes the form of the into the episode Utratio, a Trouble Solution, otherwise known as UTS for short. Sorry, something just some weird red pills I saw, but other than that, I think it's still sorry. Specializing in dealing with aliens and revealing Yuma to be the CEO of the place. I've seen child CEOs before, nothing too special. Also, Yushi is a low-grade employee. I'm surprised he's not the vice president, to be honest. Yushi and Yu's activists are doing this, and Yushi starts with the letter G for Goha from last season, while Yudi is form of a 7, just like from last season, and the kids were shocked and they never seen this before. Did the fact that their parents or grandparents not inform about the design's existence way before Goha? Anyways, the duel begins, and yeah, most of it was pretty much a fair bit of a tutorial, but more of a tutorial. But after, we get to highlights I want to say. Udius tells his kind how to play the game, just summoning the Great Belch. I almost getting electrocuted for not noticing that you can only draw more than one card, despite the fact that doing so only like 5 or more cards. If you don't have like 5 or more cards, draws a card. It has more attack, and to be his first ace monster, the Tessera. And the first ace monster that you got is Tazuma Rizka, Samurai Dinka. Yeah, well, yeah, it's basically samurais, and I better mention. And basically, I'll say his first ace monster. Which the card realized it had 160 attack despite being a level 4. You know, aside from some exceptions, mostly cards would usually huge drawback even if it's a slightly. By the way, normally this card's maximum card would be 150, there are some exceptions, but still. Well, this isn't important, but I will talk about mentioning real quick. Yoshi's Oda's deck is based on the machine deck. I wouldn't get much into specific. Yeah, I didn't send this a bit in advance while writing the script. Runs a deck that mostly revolves around basically mechanical, basically dinosaurs. Yeah, machine deck that mostly revolves around his ace monster, which we're not gonna get until episode 5. And while I will also talk about improvements, it's more based on machinery and also Joytex. Yes, spoil, but still, I'm not gonna say it's ace monster yet. Anyways, back to the actual episode. Now, UDS is a bit of a special case. Let me tell you what UDS has. UDS has something that I would say is special to the franchise, and also it will be something that I would say more important for the main characters, as well as more important for so on. The ace monster that UDS carries. UDS deck is actually I would say is a Galaxy deck. Yeah, you may be wondering, Galaxy. Yeah, hey, yeah, Konami that day when they were naming this, okay, we need to name a new archetype. Yeah, Galaxy is a new archetype instead of a archetype. Yeah, name the Galaxy type. Name the type after an archetype. Yeah, Galaxy is already an archetype, and Konami was like, we just need new names. Okay, we need a new name for this type. We're gonna do a space. I know. Let's just name it Galaxy. Didn't we already have an archetype named Galaxy? Yeah, but we'll just put in the rush rules for now, and yeah. I just gotta be really confused. Did they ever think about bringing this outside of Rush Duels? I could just imagine the confusion of, oh, what you're playing? Galaxy. Oh, you're playing the archetype? No, the type. Yeah, I just don't get why you need to name a type an archetype for this game. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just thought, why not? Yeah, I can imagine the confusion that day. But in all seriousness, so I can imagine some confusion between archetype and type, so yeah. Anyways. So, yeah. Basically ends. I don't know why Konami just basically just call it outer space or something, but maybe I just think they just really want to finish it. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much just ching wins the duel, and surprisingly, this is the first episode duel to not have the protagonist attack over 3,000 or more attack. UDS officially joins UTS, but also turns out he doesn't know the Earth Dinner and Habit. By the way, we will get to some quick cameras from last season all grown up and also literally working here, and some of the raid characters here, and even the same VAs. I do, yeah, okay, originally I should have been this part of the screen before saying it. I say this is also mostly the retirement job. They confirmed they're mostly elderlies in the next episode, so yeah. The episode ends with UDS just straight out just going, Laser Beam! You have to destroy our rotor phone with his laser eyes. Yeah, I think this episode is more of an introduction episode and then basically a beginner's episode, more like a tutorial, so yeah. Next episode, we get to episode 2, the organization of the Maritime Interstellar Kashmir. Yeah. So, just like I just need to mention real quick, most of the episodes, whenever we see UDS in the opening, we tend to, if he does, I am the well-decorated badass soldier of all time. I'll show you true badassery. And shows in the actual episode. Oh, I wonder what this thing is. Yeah. So, yeah, so, like, here, we're basically seeing outside the main street. We get to the opening, and yeah, please note they're reusing shots as well as material for the first episodes and trailers because spoiler reasons. But don't worry, after that, this is just for this episode, and the next episode we will get to the actual opening. The song is pretty cool, by the way. I do enjoy the opening and endings, by the way. Themes, by the way. Anyways, back to where we get to focus on the MIK, basically the Men in Black of this universe. We get to the small recap of the first episode with Yushi and Yuma fighting Udius' the spaceship to find a deal with it. Yushi tells Yuma to get the kidnapping alien, and UTS is able to get assure the cat, and yeah, we pretty much get to it. Yeah, as much as I wanted to pretend that this wasn't in this Udius. Yeah. This episode, yeah, basically his countrymen as well as they just basically shrink in size. And yeah, first I thought this was a Ranger drone. Yeah, I didn't notice until the end of the episode. That's basically Yuma recalls the cat with green fur, and they saw it yesterday. So yeah, only a day has sort of passed after that. We get to the reason. The rest of the crew basically greeting back Vatara, knowing if you watched last season was advisor for the Goha 6 Elementary School's heavy cavalry. But for some reason decided to work here and decided to basically make it his retirement job. Yeah, so most of it I don't go mostly on script because some of them I did have to rewatch some episodes and I had no time to I had to rewatch some of the scripts because of reasons. He decided to work here instead. Anyways, it's explained that Yuma inherited the company and building after her father, and talks about the Earth dinner that Yushi had. If I don't want to. And yeah. Yeah, they just come. Anyways, also comes to visit to look for a dog. Technically, he wasn't lying. He did lost a dog, but that's later on, and also that's a little later on in Go Rush. So I will cover that episode when I get to it. But for now, I'm not really keen. I'm also reviewing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. I will cover more when I feel like it, but maybe at some point. But no. Once again, Yushi looks for the Earth dinner, and pretty much Yuma figures out that he isn't the client and tell Udius to run. Yushi accuses him of being alien. Yuma just says, no he's not, and he's more of a cat person. Because his disguise has cat fur on it. As a guy who, knows his ways of tradecraft, I would have gone, next time please don't have random evidence of pick up better disguise and also not have any random evidence that instead you're not the person. It's the same one as yesterday's cat. The boy takes off his disguise and reveals himself to be an MIK agent and the cat from yesterday who talks and finds the rush tools that was found in the middle of the streets, and Yushi was going to challenge him to battle. But yes, as well as just basically being a illegal alien on Earth since it was his fault. Then decided, you know what, I'll just deal with it. That's nice. We get some nice little world building where at Alien we get the orders is today's yacht and the danger as under supervision. Yeah. UTS tells the reason why he came to Earth, but the MIK has like signals and like has his 80 other agents waiting outside in the building and everything. Could you imagine someone driving to work or whatever and that day and had to deal with all these people just in one building? I imagine that the people are basically going being like, and that would be most likely their reaction, to be honest. Yeah, way to go to keep your low profiles, to be honest. Yeah, skipping up the part where I realized this turns out to be UTS terms is pretty much a retirement job. Anyways, he insists the rush duels and reveals the MIK agent reveals his name to be Monabu. I know the last name AIM was used to say a bit, but I want to make this real quick. This last name is Sogetsu, and which he looks like Gavin from last season, but dyed his hair and clothes black, as well as even sharing the same voice actor. Yeah, mostly so far a lot of Go Rush's voice actors, they tend, aside from some exceptions, usually they tend to just grab a lot of recycled voice actors. I assume they're all free that day. If Yoshi wins, he gets to stay and return the cards. Toru suggests doing it outside, and the duel begins. Monobro's deck is basically consists of particularly Chemistry Pyro, basic. And that, although we don't really see his ace monster until a few episodes later, yeah. The duel pretty much introduced the effective monsters as well as tribute monsters. The effect monsters are simply does whatever random effects happen in battle, and tributes. So Monobro pretty much. Yudia saw Monobro just sacrifice to do a tribute summon, and we get to a brief flashback to a character. We get to a bit of the flashback after one of his cars of his old friend who died in the middle of a war. As much as I want to bring an old joke from a soldier, you know, kids, we will later find out he's not dead, mainly because they already teased him in the poster, as well as promotional material. Yeah, he was spoiled, to be honest. And our basically summoned his secondary ace monster, Galactica Oblivion. Yes, I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists tend to have like more than one ace monster, but usually they tend to have the one main ace monster. If you're asking, what about Dark Magician Girl? She's the ace monster, but mostly tends to Dark Magician. Usually not the main one. This is the first protagonist. Yeah, okay. They have two ace monsters. Now you may be wondering, what about Deco Target and Firewall Dragon? Technically, I say not really. I say Firewall Dragon was mostly supposed to be a temporary replacement. He was supposed to be a temporary stand-in, to be honest. I say he was a more temporary stand-in because at the time, Deco Talker was banned. And at the time. And yeah, he was kind of banned for a while until he's basically given the green light and alright dude, you're free to go. It was kind of weird to know that he was sorta banned until he just came back. Egg. And what about Flaming Wingman? Technically that card was more... Yeah, sure, there was Flaming Wingman, but that was more of a fusion card, and usually... Yeah, there was also Flaming Wingman, but I usually tended... And also but there's good reasons why. But they still consider... Mainly because Stardust is still considered the ace monster, and Neros was... Neros was still considered the ace monsters of their respective shows. So, no one was ever that replaced. One sec, just anyways, back to business. He was more of a replacement for a while because A, he was banned, and B, at the time they really needed someone to take his place for a while. Until then. Yeah, Konami tends to act a little weird sometimes where they tend to either think Deco Talker is his ace monster or Firewall Dragon is his ace monster. It gets really on the more flip... It's tend to flip on either A, he's supposed to be that, or B, he's somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird how... He just has the I am flip-flop. Just going heads or tails, to be honest, on whether or not he's banned or not banned. Yeah. Although nowadays I will consider the Kotaka Yusuka as Ace Monster, Firewall's still there though. I kinda could. But yeah. Uh, After that, basically we have a bit of the making agreement and everything on the spaceship, and also saying his name is the Velvet Gear. Also telling him that his cat partner, I forgot to mention this, her name is Netstar, and being voiced by Faze Ai. Oh yeah, I think every single JoJo fan from a mile away would maybe be familiar with her as Hey Jolene Kojiro, as well I would say Jolene Jujugoro from Stone Ocean, as well as Soji Ishiro from Fate's Grand Order. About the 8.88 million countrymen, and there are like 80 people, and they just went, you know what? Let's just leave in peace for now. And the episode ends. Good episode, by the way, and yeah, by the way, yeah, the winning duels and everything. Next episode we get to Terror? The blood-sucking alien. Yep, so beginning with sort of a normal day where he basically a kid and he opens a new pack, and particularly a magical sheep girl, Miko-chan, as well as Annette Mondrop, and as well as fan art. They all suddenly hear Chippa and sound, and we cut back to UTS. We see Mr. Yagi teaching UTS how to grow Yakuroki. He, as well as Shinomika, I'm going to assume disbanded. And although Mero Azra single, the other two members of the band, and to be honest, after seeing Raza descend, then we know what he's done now. By the way, we get to a word that the UTS likes to say. Something that for almost every character in the show sounds whenever they need to go in an affirmative or something. They say UTS when they say okay or something. At UTS. Branding too much. After we get to the opening with actual visuals and whatnot, as well as a budget for other characters. After the opening, Mr. Yuka decided to make some grilled chicken, and all of a sudden gets attacked. And after making some gets quickly attacked by the creature, and they later find him unconscious. Anyways, Yushi finds a sticks of ink that has the sauce written on them, and says he says, space is a vacuum, there's no flavor. Guess someone never watched the Fruit Theory episode. I know, this was originally I was going to drink Coke Starlight, but unfortunately, I don't have a can of it. I already drank a can of it and it was alright. Yeah, just pretend I was drinking Coke Starlight for that side. But anyways, they take it off to look for the footprints. Yoshi and UDS decided to chase the alien. So they basically decided to disguise themselves as giant grilled chicken yoraki, while holding basically grilled chicken yokamami. And no one paid attention to it. Must have been just in Japan anyways. As the alien catches the Yaki, and this way you should tell that in your also hunt in people accidentally have the game from earlier, and turns to the flashlight decided to with the creature retreating back to its robotic body. When I first saw this, I didn't pay attention to that stuff, to be honest. Anyways, turns out Yuma was dressing up as a asked her to make. And the snatch this year he was like, dude, that's not how you Dude, that cosplay is almost perfect, but you do realize the bell is supposed to be gold, not purple. The decorations is not so right, and her familiar is a fair. Looks nothing like a sheepdog, and also the skirt is a bit too long and not fluffy. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. And Yushi actually, he has pretty much an Yushi's hair is pretty much an alien detector, to be honest. Yeah, just got alien detected. It's also explained that the magical girl Miko-chan is a beloved among fans. Cute and having struck her. And was getting a fair bit of lore. Yeah, considering a lot of archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Series have lore in it on its own, aside from maybe the main story and mangas, original anime and manga, as well as anime where the weather usually means supplementary material and recent guides, as well as originally the OCG stories, anthology, focusing on the other stories and archetypes, are based on the first one we currently at the time of recording is Strikers. 1 second, check real quick what the new stories recently got. None currently, okay. At least whether we're recording the Wikipedia. Alright, back to the obvious episode and also which the end anyways, Yuma took off her disguise, and for some reason Yuri is pretty much was Lois Lane levels of being shocked despite the fact and they already know it was her. Anyway, yeah, I know, to be fair, he's an alien and all, but still. It's just a time for Mamoru and Yasuo to probably discover him and pretty much just and to catch him. For some reason, they just allowed to just rush through and agrees to just rush through. And removing his hood, revealing his true face, and also his true name, Chipatra Karaji. Voiced by Shin Yuaki, is Kakuri Tamashi from Tokyo Ravagers. The duel is a bit more focused on spells and trap cards. Chabon's basically deck is Sheeps as well as Miko-chan. Yumi's is playing high-tech dragons. Yeah, and you can even see the puns and references to why. Chabon is someone who tries to basically being able to summon the ace monster, Miko-chan, as well as, turns the head is actually human, his body is legit, Chupacabra. I'm mini happy. And also he gets to get to summon his waifu and whatnot. And try to touch her in real life. Yeah, by the way, I will call this guy Sheep Simp by the way. Doesn't have any abilities other than support cards. We find a reason why he's really got this. It turns out he just really wanted to steal anything that's Miko-chan related, and the reason why he got the grilled chicken is because Mr. Yoko's impression of her. Okay, anyways, we're in the meet and greet scene, and it's kind of weird how we get to a blank slate. Yeah, the tie they get. I know it's going to represent the meeting greetings, but it's still, I don't really like usually just begging filler. I prefer drawing my civilians or something. There are some exceptions, but still. Something else. Yuma summons her ace monster, being a blue 2 burst dragon. Yeah, it's basically a blue eyes white dragon, to be honest, like how the 7th row magicians is basically a dark magician in dual cards, even though they're already paired as legacy cards, as well as their supports are being there as well. Anyways, the main ability is that after playing 100 life points, basically can destroy cards at basically 400 attack or less, and also perform blue streaming of destruction, which is basically burst streaming of destruction. Burst streaming of destruction. First Dream of Destruction. Yeah. Santa Kaiba would probably wanted to get this card right now. Jabon, yeah, also I do. Although I'll call it Shisim, I wasn't referring to it in some parts of the review. After about saying her name and almost getting destroyed, after destroying after attacking directly, Yuma wins the duel. Jabon later was taken by the MIK and will soon be interrogated. The next morning, they do the rise, getting lots of clothing and reputation as a lady, rises to the essentially. Anyways, back at the MIK, they were trying to investigate, and turns out he has a permit. It's gold. And his family lived there for like 3 generations, as well as contributed in peace and also community, which basically prevents anyone from basically getting arrested. So yeah. After also noticing that he is a Japan, he basically and makes a call to someone else. Back to Utia, as we get to pretty much Yuma noting that Udius, Napstar, and now Japan notes that there's nothing something happened to the aliens. The episode ends with Japan answering the call and revealing Zara is not dead, despite the fact we already knew that. Like, we already know he's not dead. Like I said before, they already teased him in the opening and in the posters. It's like literally going, "Hi, there you go." It's like literally he's spoiling that one character who shows up in the poster, turns out to be alive. Anyways, good episode. It's a good episode, and honestly, yeah, it's just a pretty much basically one of the minions. Another one we will get to in like an episode 2 later. Another will be a Kappa, and the other will be an alien armchair. Although I'm not going to cover the alien armchair until the next episode, but for now, I'm not covering it for now. Anyways, the episode begins with Japan traps. We know that obvious, to be honest, we did. You have seen the beginning of the episode, and after showing Japan's trap, we know obviously, to be honest, what is going to happen in this episode because they already allegedly put his name in the title. Anyways, the episode begins with betraying it. Yudia seeing Richard as a badass as per usual, but then we see him again just trying to brush his teeth and accidentally putting it into his throwback. Oh my god. Anyways, after pretty much we see Yushi having a usual morning and notice today is Sunday, so no school, and then suddenly accidentally broke the valve gear of the desk hitting the ground and damaging one head. He thinks he accidentally killed his entire population and decided to rush out, pretty much get the materials, bring a replica to make sure to find a way to fix it. Didn't know how to fix it. Meanwhile, Udius and Yuma basically went on their first sort of scavenger mission. Well, pretty much getting supplies and whatnot. We get to the Udius seeing one again, from last episode, per name. Anyways, Yushi basically tries to fix the spaceship. Turns out they're not dead. Accidentally land on a garbage truck. Okay, I gotta mention this earlier. Just real quick. Quite little turns on Mamba last season. From last season, established a city with Goha, and yeah, they act like separate entities, but they own the whole town now. Heading to the garbage collecting site 8. Again, 8 is the arc number. Also, going to Yushi and Chipola, and the minutes are actual traps, and yeah, if you didn't pay attention to the title, but yeah. So, trap begins, the first Chipotle hits the button, opening the breach of Udius, who barely grabs the edge and basically representing trap hole. And you know it's funny that a classic card that whenever our opponent just, alright, time to attack, and it's basically funny despite the fact that it basically doesn't 100. Basically, whenever it attacks, it basically gets destroyed. Easily funny. Excuse me. This card is basically a 1000 attack or higher. Also, find it funny that Edgar is depicted despite able to fly and able to turn the spaceship. Just can't. It's like, oh. We get to the second chat. Jamalin basically shreezes him and basically represents Eternal Froze. Basically, the card will be in the bottom of your deck. I was frozen today! Sorry, I had to bring... Sorry, I really want... sorry. An overview from a very long time ago, and someone from an old childhood, and from an old movie, and that was from a joke from a old reviewer. Anyways, Udius grabs out an ice, and the third trap basically tries another claw, representing the call of the Earthbound, where basically if you take a guy, you can choose a minion and get sucked by the black hole. Usually these monsters are basically get stuck in the black hole. Like they are JPEGs! Sorry, they just look like JPEGs to be honest, they just get sucked out like JPEGs. Udius transforms into his true form and try to laser skate using laser eyes. We get back to Yushi trying to help get back to the sweet characters and aliens who, importantly for the next episode, Yushi sees someone important for the next episode, and he remembers in the flashback it lost to him and gets his Earth Dimmer. Yeah, I better mention this real quick, that why I didn't mention the Earth Dimmer, to be honest, is the other two episodes feels like they treat it as a running gag, only to become actually real. Yeah, I honestly wish they didn't feel like the Earth Dinner was treated as like a running gag before actually showing that this is actually an important item. But I need to say the Valgear to this rematch happens a lot later in the next episode, so yeah. Yeah, I kind of wish it didn't feel like they treat us like totally not important. Turns out to be freaking important. Yeah, sorry, I just honestly feel like if they didn't treat us like a running gag, we would actually get to something like, hey, this thing is very important. But don't forget, also it's not a joke, by the way. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish they didn't just feel like the equivalent of treating it to. Anyways. Basically, the Earth Dinner, yeah, anyways, but you need to save the Valgear, so he chose to save the Valgear since he's dead. Udius begs Chippa every day like, hi! That was like, yeah, I'm here to kill you. A reminder, this is the dude who basically stole items anyways. Chibata decided to say Valgear decided to threaten it to take Udius where the Earth Dinner is. But it turns out to be a paper mache! And the real one was in the bag! And Yushi totally planned this out despite the fact that he was using it to try to fix his, to find a way to fix the shit later. When Yuchara was about to get the real one, all of a sudden MIK just doesn't go, alright, you're under arrest! We're bringing you to HQ and you're also removing your human permit. Yuma notices that Udius is missing and follows the trail. MIK lets the change to the slide and the episode ends with Udius. Yes, this is the end of actually fixing the ship like a jigsaw puzzle. Like, shh, okay, done. Also again the respect of Yushi and Yushi questioning it. Yeah, this episode was no dueling, but it's a bit more character focused and enjoyable, and setting on a bit of a character that we'll see next week. Last week's episode, I'm Telekari, and I'm Patchy. A bit of spoiling in the name, by the way, for this episode, but then again, he's going to be important for late. Basically, back to the same old showing Kara he's the cool. Showing Yuji as being the coolest guy and all. In the next shot, he sure that just got washing machine, got a little dizzy, and accidentally destroyed with your eyes. And wet with the clothing as well. Seriously, this guy? Yeah, seriously. Next time, change your alien. Hey, still next laser be anything. Unless important. Was after the opening, we get to Yoshi just complaining of, dude, my clothes were wet! And as well as my dueling disc. Also, said my sister, and also my sister's favorite dress is me. By the way, whenever the employees she likes to wear that dress on stage, and told that one of the employees would have been mistaken for X-ray dropping into the river. He demands to speak to the manager. No, I'm not making it obvious, stupid joke, by the way. You wanted obvious. You don't want me to say that obvious didn't mean, to be honest. Tell Kai, who basically thought he doesn't know his name until he realized we did again telling that he has to get his name. But I didn't realize it was the same guy he lost to the duel in the flashback of the last episode. Yeah, I didn't mention this, so I'll just mention this real quick. The entire sequence is pretty cool, and I just do like the fun music. And where characters going on. Anyways, he did demand rematch Kappa and decided to activate the chat on there. And then basically back in the KHQ, we get to an interrogation scene to find any clues. And he was crying. Turns out it was just drinking salt. Anyways, back to Yusha, basically in an underground in an undisclosed place. Kappa straight up just accepts a rematch, and if he gets to win, if he wins, he gets to go back. If Kappa goes back. If Kappa wins, he will just want to casually experiment all day and for knowledge. Dude, I couldn't imagine the police reports on missing cases, and you find out you're kidnapped, you're going to prison! Anyways, back to UTS. After the basically the huge washing machine sale. Maybe, by the way, tomorrow's money, he decided to notice that he just usually goes home, isn't home yet, so they were looking for him. Anyways, back to Yoshi about to begin doing this, but I realized I was soaking wet. The Valkyries come to rescue and turn their entire ship into a dueling disc. Which, yeah, from last week's episode was wholesome, and yeah, after watching episode, and that dueling disc is probably still soaked and broken, and didn't have time to fix up because next week's episode pretty much just states, yeah, it's still broken. Yeah, I watched that week's episode. I watched episode 19, and it pretty much shows that, yeah, they're still gonna use him. The Velvet Gear is pretty much just basically he's doing this right now. So, yeah. Back to where I'm saying. Well, almost an hour long. My review is an hour long, and yet this is mostly just going there. Yoshi served dinner, which has been kind of a thing since the first step. I forgot something. Yeah. And it was also a moment, and Telekappa literally has a deck of Kappas. On our side, tutorial on defense and also trappings. Kappa told Yoshi about the Earth Dinner and the thirst for knowledge, and knowing that the point of his body has been getting a lot wet recently, and some of his ace monster being a Kappa Emperor River Slider. And I didn't really like the sign in this pretty much bridge era. I pretty much of all Yu-Gi-Oh! Related to the CGIs of their ace monster, this one has got to look like the most outdated one, and just sticks out like a sore thumb, to be honest. Anyways, his abilities is that he gets in one Aqua monster to the graveyard and able to destroy 2 monsters who was level 7 and higher or something like After Yushi joins in it, to the trap card, and unfortunately had some problems since this is the first time that it just became dueling. Yes. But I actually got it working. Yushi summons an ace monster called the Jotun Rex. Basically a toy T-Rex. I think the CJ works well, honestly, than the Kappa Emperor. His ability is during the main phase, he can shuffle 3 cards from the game back to his hand, and basically able to destroy 1 card when his bonus fail. After finishing the duel, basically Kappa just, here you go, here's your turn back, and when she was kind of thankful and everything, they return it, and oh my god, this is alive, despite the fact that we already saw him alive in the last 2 episodes, as well as the promo poster, as well as also the opening. Oh, no, okay, yeah. Tucks it and then leaves then. Malibu arrives. Do you come a bit early? If you came a bit early, you could have just stopped it. Ask Udius to know it might be. And Udius is gonna respond, look at the stars. Evaluation Good episode, and it's a little more in story, so yeah. Overall, I say these 10 episodes were pretty good, and it does show some bit more on lore building and everything else that's going to happen a lot later in the show, as well as pretty much all of lore. So, yeah. Yeah, I think so far the show has been pretty good. I do enjoy more of them just, mostly just being Bridge able to work on a show that doesn't feel like something, and it's nice to know. Now, before I go, I better mention this real quick. Yeah, speaking about Afaza, and also someone else or something, earlier, I would like to talk about the Chainsaw Man's casting. Recently, Chainsaw Man has announced the cast for the new animes and whatnot, and I'm going to mention this real quick. I think the cast is decent, to be honest. Not really too special on who they cast, to be honest, but I better mention it here since it's going to be very important for later voice acting careers. So, yeah, the casting for the Chainsaw Man, and well, this was mostly because also the manga artist for himself, they basically was like, alright, time to pick time to carefully pick who I pick. And then go for someone really random. So, yeah, the voice acting cast, first of all, let me go with something what I was expecting before. And yeah, a lot of people were expecting some obvious top tier ones. So, yeah, there were some predictions on some of the voice acting they were getting, to be honest, which, in my opinion, they were going to go with some popular VA choices. honestly. So yeah, people were expecting. Ah yes, I can't wait for no. Okay, to voice Denji, Torazaki. I think the other two was here, and the other was here. Yeah, there were some predictions on who might be voicing these characters, to be honest. But I would say, yeah, there were some predictions like that. Because, A, there are more. Obviously, one of the most likely one to get Bakugo's voice. Cloud's voice. Some of the more popular VAs they wanted to get, to be honest. And yeah, there was also that pre-selecting list that everyone was talking about league, but yeah, it was kind of fake, so yeah, let me just go with what they actually got. I will also just talk about my opinions on who they got and my thoughts on the. So first of all, we get to no, it's not about. Okay. Also, it's Kashiro Shusuke Toyo who's gonna be voicing Denji, and so far he's a newbie in this industry. He's the newbie industry. He's currently newbie at the time of recording, and yeah. Yeah, he's a newbie in the industry. Not really I can find. He is a very newbie guy, to be honest. Not many roles he had. I think he only just played like 2 minor background roles. And this is his first main role, to be honest. And I'm really happy he got something of a main role. I do hope a successful career after this and whatnot. But he does have a lot of potential, so yeah. Next up we have is Tomoaki Kanoki Mikasa. I would say she's a bit more underrated, but she had a couple of roles. Yeah, but the two I will probably say is Lynch from Sword Art Online in Alternative Genge. And Rami in Kashmira or Cassidy in English, or last name was in English instead of Cassidy from Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Yeah, honestly, it's quite surprising to know, to be honest. Yeah, I do feel like she's decent, but she's a bit more of what I like to say, in my opinion, kind of underrated. It's nice to know she's going to be voicing Maka and help with pretty much why she's more the less popular one out of all the VAs they currently got. And yes, I know you. Sato from Yuki from Love Life, but maybe that's not from the idol ones, I would say. And Futawa-chan, not the one from Persona. This one from Senpai is annoying. And so, yeah, I think honestly, I say, hey, it's nice to see her getting another major role. To be honest, oh yeah, natural, and also Vice from main star. So I guess I know what she was doing. Shugo Shiratora, voicing Aki Hajura. I was kind of expecting Tora Sakura to voice him, to be honest. But I think Shugo deserves at least one major role, at least, as Big Ray, considering most of the time he's been mostly voicing background characters. So, yeah, I will give him something, to be honest. And last but not least, we have Fuzzy Ai. I mentioned her earlier, but she's also going to be voicing Power. And despite being a newbie, she's one of the more popular ones because she voiced Miki Sakura and How Have You Done Raise Your Way. Soji Shenra from Fate's Grand Order. Monster's Cookie from Cookie Run Kingdom. Natsumi from AKQ Summer from Tropical World Precure. Azor for Full Dive. But I think everyone may be familiar with her for one of her more recent roles, and pretty much her iconic role, Jolene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Stone Ocean. Yep. I'm really happy she and I mean, fun fact, I really wanted that role. I mean, she was inspired by JoJo to do voice acting. And yeah, I mean, even her first role, Hibiki Sakura, and I mean, it's quite surprising how how she got the role for Hibiki Sakura and Jolene were a bit more unintentional. They were kind of wanting to voice different characters, voice their rivals, but ends up actually voicing the actual main girls. I'm really happy that she's one of the more popular ones out of the bunch, but yet, despite being a newbie, she's one of the more popular ones out of the bunch. And I'm really, really happy that she gets to get another major role. And mostly a lot of the voice acting. And yeah, overall, I would like to say I'm really happy. Overall, the casting is decent. I did feel I was kind of the obvious ones I was most likely gonna say was either I would have said mostly the ones I really chose, but honestly I think the casting is good, to be honest, good enough. And by the way, a lot of the staff are very new. I think wanted to make sure there are at least some people who they can get, maybe people they could help with the series, and a lot of people just really just wanting to get new roles and whatnot. No professionals this time, just get some newbies to work on this, but I mean they're also working closely with the manga artists and everything, so yeah, hopefully this doesn't have any weird screw-ups and whatnot. But I'm really happy of what we're gonna get so far and everything else. And honestly, I did prefer if they just got the. So yeah, overall the casting is good, not just what I was expecting, but good enough. I say decent so far. No, what I was expecting, to be honest, but I do hope that. I do hope Chainsaw Man does come for this October, and it's going to be good, to be honest, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time, and yeah, goodbye. Bye!